The media jumping all over former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn's guilty plea, but Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz, he's now arguing that General Flynn's admission that he lied may actually be a sign of weakness for the special counsel's case, and this shows you how weak it is. That's Alan Dershowitz with that argument. He's with me now. He is the author of the book Trumped Up. Can you explain your point here? Good to see you, by the way, Alan. What's your point about that this is a sign of weakness?
Well, thank you for having me on. First of all, whenever a prosecutor has to indict a potential witness for lying, you know he's in trouble because the witness loses his value as a credible witness if he's already admitted to lying. Second, what he lied about was not a crime. What he tried to do to get the Russians not to vote for the horrible UN resolution that put all the blame on Israel was a good thing, not any criminal conduct. And second, the president could have and still could pardon Flynn at any point. If the president really thought that Flynn had something dramatic against him, he probably would have pardoned him because Flynn was looking for a deal, either from the president, a pardon, or if he didn't get the presidential pardon, he was going to sell himself or rent himself to the special counsel. He obviously didn't get a pardon, so now he's playing ball with the special counsel, but he probably doesn't have very much to offer. They can't use him as a witness, but perhaps they can use him as a source to get other witnesses. Doesn't sound very strong to me.
Yeah, critics are saying if there was a case that there was a quid pro quo with, Russian hacking of Hillary Clinton as a trade-off for going, dialing back on the Russian sanctions, you would have seen it by now. We didn't see that in this case now being brought against General Flynn. Who knows if he has any information there? But, to your point, he's being blasted, Michael Flynn, for violating the Logan Act. You pointed this out. It's about private citizens cannot negotiate with foreign governments. I mean, set aside the Russian collusion story. You've pointed this out, Mr. Dershowitz, that many incoming presidents and their teams have done just that. Reagan, Obama with Israel, Afghanistan, Iraq, and Germany in 2008 and more, right?
If any prosecutor actually indicted somebody under the Logan Act, that prosecutor would probably be disbarred. It would be so unethical. The statute simply doesn't exist. It hasn't been used in 215 years. There's a legal concept called desuetude, a fancy term that just means if you haven't used the statute for hundreds of years, you can't suddenly resurrect it and use it against a political target. It could have been used against Ronald Reagan when he negotiated with the Iranians to keep American hostages longer so that he could get credit. Could have been used against Jimmy Carter when he told Yasser Arafat not to accept the Bill Clinton offer. Could have been used against Jesse Jackson when he negotiated. It could be used against Dennis Rodman. You name it. It's never been used. And the idea of trotting it out now would be highly, highly unethical and unprofessional. And it's not going to get done because if it was going to get done, they would have indicted Flynn under the Logan Act. He clearly violated its terms, but the statute simply doesn't exist.
Yeah, he wasn't indicted for it, right.
Nor was he indicted for any kind of conspiracy with other people. That's what prosecutors love to do. They love to prosecute somebody for involvement with other people. They didn't. They prosecuted him for lying alone to the FBI about something that wasn't a crime, a real show of weakness.
Mr. Dershowitz, we do have Democrat Senator Dianne Feinstein. She's saying the case can be made against Trump over obstruction. What are your thoughts on that?
You cannot indict a president or charge a president with obstruction for merely exercising his constitutional authority to fire, to pardon. If you could, they would have gone after George Bush I. He pardoned Caspar Weinberger on the eve of his trial, and the special prosecutor said that was clearly intended to put a halt to his investigation of Iran-Contra, which he did. But nobody's ever thought you can indict a president for doing something that's entirely lawful under the Constitution.
Alan Dershowitz, so good to see you. And thanks so much for coming on. We love having you on.